Let me tell you a story. As I lay in my bed with my eyes closed, my father came into my room and tucked me in. "Good night, Daddy," I said, only to be answered by a coarse voice whispering in my ear, "I'm not your daddy." My grandma told me to come downstairs. This would be fine if my grandma hadn't died 30 years ago. My dad left 3 days ago. I hope he comes home soon. I don't think Mommy is supposed to be underwater this long. My brother lost his short-term memory in the crash that killed his family. Every day, he finds out from me that his wife and child are dead, and it feels better every time I do it. I sometimes hear the sound of a baby crying. I don't have a baby, and it only happens when I'm alone. "You're going to die today," the little girl whispered in my ears, pigtails swinging in the summer breeze. I looked back at her in surprise, before a soft smile played upon my lips and I sighed peacefully. Thank God. I've been trying for weeks. Now that they're dead, I finally have the whole house to myself until the next family moves in. As the pencil rolled under the bed, I sighed and crouched down to retrieve it. I don't know what was worse, having the pencil roll back towards me, or finally seeing what's been walking around my room when it thinks I'm asleep. My husband was so upset that we lost our little girl 2 days ago. I'm glad that he didn't ask where I got the meat for our stew from. I've always wanted to provide the best experience for my guests. Too bad the trunk of my car is so small. My friend got hacked. Forensics say he was likely alive for most of it. It's dark, cold, and stuffy in my new home. If I knew you stayed in your body after you die, I wouldn't have been buried. I was running for office, but stepped down after I saw what a prodigy my opponent was. For anyone else, I wouldn't have. But Mr. Hitler was so young and passionate about politics. Gardening was the last thing I thought my wife would take up after our daughter went missing. But when our dog went digging in the flower bed and found a bone, I realized why. After a long workday, I like to relax in a nice hot bath with my wife. The heat makes her skin feel like she's still alive. I got back home and my daughter wasn't in, but she left her cell phone. The screen read 911. Why do people always close their curtains when they think they're being watched? After all, we always watch from inside. When I woke up in a panic, I held my doll for comfort. That changed as it squeezed back, harder and harder. I awoke to the sounds of crickets chirping loudly, and I asked my wife, "Honey, did you leave the window open again?" I heard the sound of duct tape ripping off a roll before a strange voice said, "No, she didn't." I now baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. It took us far too long to realize the Reverend didn't intend to bring my son back up. I keep seeing something move out of the corner of my eye. The scary part is I'm blind. I've always had the supernatural ability to know where someone was by looking at a photo of them. So it pained me to tell the mother of a missing child that her daughter was in several different places. "Daddy, why do I have to wear this to see Mommy?" "It will be over soon," I said as I tightened the noose. As death entered my room, all I could think to say was, "Not today." "Well, if you say so," it shrugged apathetically. "But I do have a quota to keep," it said, stepping towards my baby's room. Unable to move, I could only look at my killer. In a fit of childish curiosity, my 2-year-old pulled the plug. Time of birth, 8:46 a.m., the doctor said as I held my son in my arms. Time of death, 8:47 a.m., the doctor continued, closing the eyes of my wife. "Pick your poison," the bartender said, gesturing to the assortment of drinks on the shelf. Now, as I lay here writhing on the floor of the restaurant while the light drains from my eyes, I regret not taking him literally. I was overwhelmed with pure heartache as I looked at my wife's half-packed suitcase. I now realized I would have to cut her into smaller pieces to bring all of her. My wife found it soothing as I gently rubbed her back with my nails until I started hammering them in. "I'm not a witch," she screams, tears streaming down her face as the sparks catch on her dress. "I know." I drove past the same kid 5 times now, so I just assumed I was going in circles. The only problem with that is that I've been driving on the open highway for 2.5 hours, and the kid has an inhumanly large grin each time I pass him. My mommy told me using the nail clippers wouldn't hurt. Boy, is she gonna think I look cute when she sees how much shorter my teeth have gotten. "You have to push it in just a little bit deeper," she said to her little brother. He nodded, and shoved the fork into the electrical outlet as hard as he could. When I said, I prefer peeling the skin for myself before eating, she was thinking of an orange. I was thinking of her. Being home alone can be one of the most scariest experiences. Good thing I'm always here with you.